But actually, let me ask you about this year's rookie class, because I'm super high on this year's rookie class, and I'm interested to see like kind of how you would rank them maybe as long-term guys, because I recently put out a video that I really wouldn't advise buying any of the new releases. There's really only been one release out, NBA Hoops, but if you compare the prices, like Joshua Primo, his rookie auto, for example, is like over $100. But if you think about Tyrese Maxey's rookie auto is
Right.
under $100. So like, if I'm going to advise you, for example, or anyone listening or watching, like buy Tyrese Maxey, like buy Tyrese Maxey for $80 rookie auto before you dump $113 on Joshua Primo, right? Because you don't know what Joshua Primo, for example, is going to be, but you
Right.
kind of know what, you kind of see what Tyrese Maxey is going to be. So my question to you is like, who do you think, and I can list some guys out if it helps you, but who do you think in this year's rookie class are going to be, let's say maybe 2, 3, 4 years from now, guys where we're like, okay, this is the AD, this is the Kawhi, this is the Paul George, et
Sure.
cetera.
Yeah.
It's kind of the top guys.
Yeah. First of all, I think this year's rookie class is phenomenal. I think there is so much talent in this year's rookie class. In terms of guys that I think are going to evolve, it's hard not to go with the big names that got picked. They just have
Yeah.
so much talent. And a lot of these guys, obviously, they're early picks in the draft. So they're going to not great markets, not great teams. And their teams are playing well. And if they're not playing well, they still have huge contributions night in and night out. First name that comes to mind is Evan Mobley. I don't know if it's Mobley or Mobley, over in Cleveland. Man, he is a force defensively. They've got that setup right now where there's times when they have 3 7-footers in, which allows us to see his versatility more so than if he was just the only 7-footer and he's really having to play, in the semicircle and hands up and all in the block, because we get to see him moving around a little bit and in transition, which is exciting. And we can see how well he moves. You mentioned AD. He's obviously not refined like AD, but he moves. They just move like deer. I think he's going to be really good moving forward. I'm huge on Cade Cunningham. His demeanor and his game is so pro already as a rookie. It's unbelievable. And coming off injury, I think I'm really excited to see him keep getting his feet wet in the league, and I think he's going to be a beast. Jalen Green is someone for me that I was really high on. Watched him play with the G League Ignite for a little bit, and then obviously in high school he was unbelievable. He's probably the most freak athlete in that class, so I was extremely high on him coming in. Thought he was going to have a huge ceiling, but his efficiency just isn't quite there right now. And obviously, being over in Houston, they're having some problems as a team. But I'm curious to see what he would look like in a different market on a different team, maybe with a little more structure in place, because he's a freak athlete. That's about all I got for you.
Yeah, those are good picks. I mean, I'm with you on Mobley, Cunningham, Green. I think those are probably the smart investments in the card space as the releases come out. They're still yet to release a lot of the premier sort of card brands. So, for example, Prism and Optic, they don't come out for a while. Don Russell come out next. Hoops is out, and the prices of this year's class are just like through the roof. Like anyone drafted in the first round, their rookie auto is over $100, which is just insane. And like Jalen Green's rookie auto is going for $300, $400, $500. Here are some other guys that I get excited about. In no particular order, but I just kind of want to geek out with you about these guys. Like I think that obviously Scottie Barnes is probably the next guy that you didn't say that is maybe an obvious call. From what I've heard about him, he's so versatile that he kind of transcends the different positions, which I think is good for the sports card investor, because you're wanting there's always a bigger market for guards, right? So if you get a guy like Scottie Barnes who can match up against guards and handle the ball, and I haven't seen Evan Mobley play, but I hear he can play multiple positions as well. The other two guys you mentioned are guards. So I think like Mobley and Barnes fit in as good sports card investments as well. So I'm interested in your take on Scottie Barnes. Let's go one by one. What do you know? What do you know, and what have you seen about Scottie Barnes?
I can't believe I missed that one. That's a big name. He reminds me of Draymond Green,
Okay.
who I think is arguably the most valuable player on Golden State. You can see what
Yep.
Golden State looks like the last 2 weeks or so without Draymond. It's so different. The ball movement and the focus on like the structure that he sets up throughout the offense is insane. And Scotty reminds me of it just with how versatile he is. I don't think he has the floor vision or the knowledge quite that Draymond obviously has, but Scotty's going to be good. He can do anything. He can guard. I would say he can guard 1 through 5 right now, which is I don't know how many rookies you've been able to say that about the last 15 years. Yeah, he can dribble the ball down the floor in transition, which is huge right now. I haven't seen him shoot the ball a ton, but his touch seems fine pretty much anywhere he's touching the ball. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what Toronto as a team is going to do. Because it seems like every year they're struggling, and then you look up and it's like they're 45-20 right now or something crazy. So I'm excited to see. And they never have a ton of talent, it seems like. So I'm excited to see how he's going to fit in that offense, especially with Pascal, because I feel like we will have to see how versatile Scotty is because Pascal is also a versatile forward. So when you have two of those guys in at the same time, it's interesting to see how they factor off each other. But I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think I like Toronto. I like they're one of my new favorite teams to play with in 2K. So I was it's my only game I can beat Max in consistently. So I was the Raptors against him the other day, and it was fun. I think if they can keep that nucleus together, they'd be fun to watch for a long time. And I think Scottie Barnes will be a good sports card investment, along with the guys you mentioned. The thing that I love the Draymond Green comparison, by the way. That's a great call. I think like I'm huge on Draymond. He's one of my favorite players. I'm biased because I'm a Michigan State guy, and I agree. I just like Draymond's game. And he definitely is the X factor for Golden State. And I love the comparison. I think if Scottie Barnes ends up being like too much like Draymond Green, he may not have as high a ceiling in the hobby because people love the highlight reel plays. But if Scottie can also have like sick breakaway dunks or catch alley-oops from Van Vliet or whatever, like then he could kind of be really that do-it-all guy and that scorer, then I think his card prices could be ridiculous, and he could be one of the best buys in this whole class. A couple other guys, I'll throw out multiple names now because I think they all kind of go together. I think Josh Giddy could be an amazing buy just because he's that 6'8" point guard he's almost like a 6'8" Jason Kidd kind of.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know. Like maybe that's the best comparison I can come up with on the fly. I think Jonathan Kuminga. I've heard a lot of people mention him as like this sleeper of the draft that could end up actually being the best player long term, and he seems to be just being in Golden State is kind of scary. I saw him put up like 23 the other night or something like that with Draymond out.
An efficient 23.
An efficient 20, in like 17 minutes or something crazy like that. And so let's go with Giddy, Kuminga, and then another guy that I think is interesting because he's playing with Ja and he's starting due to some injuries on the Grizzlies. And what could generate some more hype for him is I think he played with Bronny James in high school, is Zaire Williams. He just looks like maybe the Miles Bridges Jr. or something like that. But what's your take on those three guys?
Starting with Giddy, I'm a huge Giddy fan. I like all these Euro stars, man. They're so much fun to watch because you get to see the differences in our game versus over in Europe. And a lot of those guys in Europe, hate to say it, they just play the game the right way, and he's one of them. He does not care if he's going to take 2 shots or 30. He's going to do whatever happens based on the flow of the game and whatever he needs to do to try to help his team win. I think OKC right now, like, they have no business being in as many late games against good teams as it seems like they have. And he's a big portion of why, because he has some games where he has 12 assists and he took 3 shots. And it's like, this guy's a rookie. And to have that kind of, I guess, like poise and maturity for the game, I think is good. So I'm not sure how long he's going to stay in OKC, but if he moves to a contender, he also has like just that big playmaking factor that you put him on any team and he can probably fit in really well. I'm pretty big on him. That's another good name. In terms of Kuminga, I am a little curious to see what happens with him, just because I feel like Golden State is so deep right now that and they're in a chance of a title run, right? And we got to assume that this is towards the tail end of, Steph, Clay, one of the greatest runs that we've seen, especially with Clay getting hurt and all that. But I'm worried about how his development is going to go in a championship run season, and how long they'll want to keep him, whereas they're going to have to get even more depth once these main guys start getting out of the league. So in terms of talent, absolutely there. If you watch them on the Ignite, it's crazy. Bouncy, can shoot the ball, can play probably 2 through 4, really, just because he's so athletic. So I think he's going to be really good too. It's just I'm not sure. Like, you look at Wiseman with Golden State. Obviously, he's been hurt, but he was putting up such good numbers to start. Like, he was playing like 15 minutes and putting up 10 and 10. But they didn't like the way that he played in their offense. He just didn't have the movement down and all that, and they felt like it slowed them down on offense. So I'm just curious to see how development goes for guys over in Golden State. I would imagine it would go well considering who they have as veteran leadership, but I guess he could be a sleeper for someone that's really low value right now just because he doesn't get a ton of time, and he could be good just because of how much talent he has. And then we look at Zaire. Is it Zaire or Zaire?
I say Zaire, but I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly.
Gotcha. Yeah. To be honest, I haven't watched him a ton, but he seems to be like that third kind of glue guy for them right now, which I'm just like a huge fan of the glue guy on every team. So it's fun to watch him kind of come in and have little – I think I've probably watched him play 2 or 3 games, but it seems like each game he comes in and he's not really doing a whole lot. And then he has like a 4 or 5 minute spurt where it's like he just pinned that off the glass, then he caught a lob in transition, and now he's making defensive stops. So those kind of guys are always fun to watch. I think he can definitely be special. I'm not sure how much the market plays into these cards. I think he'll probably have to get out of Memphis to really see himself shine, especially with what Jaw's about to do to the league.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's actually one thing I wanted to talk to you about. I feel like we've got some good momentum going on the player analysis, but let's take a little sidebar here. The market does play a factor, and one of the things that I'm trying to stay like you talk about discipline in sports betting, and I'm trying to stay disciplined in what my buys and my recommendations are for sports card investing, because the market plays a role, but also are you the number one guy in that market also plays a role. So for example, like if you're trying to determine, should I buy Jason Tatum or Jalen Green? Like, who's the number one? Like, is it like, and that's just an example. And so like, does it make sense? Like, I already have a bunch of Ja cards and a bunch of Jaren Jackson Jr. cards. And I'm sitting here like really enjoying what the Grizzlies are doing right now, because I'm thinking I could probably sell any of these cards at any time right now and, at least break even or potentially make like 10, 20% on these guys. I could wait and see if they make sort of an improbable run in the West. If that does happen in the next 2 or 3 years while they're together, the card prices could spike and I could, 5-6x the investment. Then you look at a guy like Zaire, when his card prices inevitably come down next year, after next year's rookie class comes out, should I buy Zaire and now have 3 guys on the Grizzlies? That's kind of like, it's a similar concept to like the fantasy sports thing. Like, should I have too many guys in the same offense,
Right.
So it does come into play. And I think you bring up a good point that you definitely have to analyze, like, is this going to be a guy that I can make 5% on, or is this a guy that I can make 50 to 100 to 200% on? And Zaire might fall into kind of the 5% category. Like I think Cam Johnson's a good example. I see maybe Zaire being like a version of a Cam Johnson in the card market. Like
Sure.
when Phoenix made their run last year, Cam Johnson's cards went up, but like that's it. That's the window for Cam Johnson. Like there's no other window. So I think Zaire is a guy like that. I like a lot of other guys in this draft, but there's one guy, like there's actually 2 guys. Let me get your opinion on who's going to be better. I'm not going to name off all the guys I like because then everyone is going to be like, well, you just named off the whole first round. But I think so. Great having you on, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed talking. Obviously, it's good to speak with you. I'd love to do it again sometime. So hopefully we can find a date that I can wake up at 5:30 again, and we can make it work. But I appreciate you having me. Tell Kate I said hello, and then we'll talk soon.
We'll do a sports card strategy show with Paul Hickey and Conner Barnett, brought to you by marketmoversapp.com by Sports Card Investor. Go there, save 20% by using the promo code no offseason, all lowercase. And when you pair that with our investment report at nooffseason.com/invest, you have the analysis and the data that you need to make your sports card investment decisions. And thanks again for watching and listening. And one more thing for Conner. I see the Sawgrass poster in the back. So when I'm back in Tennessee, we might need to link up and play some golf. Because,
absolutely. I played in 30
one
degrees.
Thing I don't do enough of.
Yeah.
Did you really?
30 degrees. Yeah. So
Where
we need to
did
make
you
it happen. It's over in Trenton, Georgia. It's like 25, 30 minutes from downtown Chattanooga. So greens were rock hard. It was terrible. It was terrible.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got some swings in, man. All right. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Paul.
See you, man.